Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar made a name for themselves on their TLC reality show starring them and their growing family. The Learning Network became fascinated with capturing their story as they grew their family from 17 kids and counting to 19 kids and counting. Over the years, the family went from beloved by the public to finding themselves in the headlines for their oldest son's disgusting actions. Along with that, a lot of the kids have moved out, gotten married, and had kids of their own, and in the process, some have started speaking out about what it was like growing up in this family. Not only what it was like growing up and being on camera, but about the things that they believed in as they were growing up, the rules that they had to follow, and what that did to them. At the beginning of this year, I made a video about how Ginger, one of the oldest daughters in the family, decided to speak out about her family and what it was like being in this family, believing what they believed in. But she is married, she has 2 daughters, and she's come to realize so much about her past, and she's wanted to talk about the changes that she's made in her life. The Duggar family were followers in the Institute of Basic Life Principles, an organization established by Bill Gothard, a disgraced minister. The Duggars lived by his teachings and were very extreme in their beliefs. They made their girls wear long skirts, never pants. They kept their hair long. They were always covered up. The older girls took care of the younger siblings, cooked, cleaned, and basically were being trained to be wives and only wives and mothers. The boys were to just be clean shaven and have short hair and were taught to take care of their families and provide for their wives when they got older. They were on the air for a couple years and viewers got to see the family expand, kids get married, and have their own kids. And throughout all of this, a lot of people were just kind of under the assumption that they were devout Christians because that's really what they said they were most of the time. They didn't really get into depth about who they were exactly following. Obviously, there were people that knew, but in general, they were kind of attached to Christianity, which is something that some of the older daughters are coming out now to say that they did not want Christianity to have a bad name based off of everything that's happened with their family, especially with Josh. Now, the show ran until 2015 when their oldest son, Josh, was called out for his disgusting actions with girls, including his sisters. TLC canceled the show and a new one later started called Counting On that followed the lives of the older siblings in the family that had gotten married and had families of their own. But after Josh's arrest in 2021, the show was officially canceled and the Duggars were officially off the air. And now that time has sort of passed, there's been time for some of the older girls to process their childhood. And like I said, they've come out to talk about what their lives have been like over the years. And I said that Ginger spoke out earlier this year, but now another Duggar daughter is speaking out. Jill has now come out and is talking about her family in a new docuseries that is going to be premiering on Prime called Shiny Happy People Duggar Family Secrets. She isn't the only Duggar to speak out in this either. Amy is also speaking out. She was a cousin of the family and she was often on the show, but chose to step away after everything had come to light about Josh. She does still keep in touch with some members of the family like Jill, but the crazy thing is Amy was always painted out to be a rebellious member of the Duggar family. She wore shorts and she wore tank tops and she was not as conservative as the other girls. She also had short hair, and it's crazy because those are the things that made her rebellious. She didn't actually do anything that made her actually rebellious other than the fact that, she wasn't wearing the clothes and she didn't have the same hair that they did. And it is a reason why she has wanted to come out and speak out about the family and those beliefs. So now the two of them are sitting down along with some others to talk about their family and what Bill Gothard's teachings did. The entire docuseries seems to be all about the Institute and Basic Life Principles, which they're referring to as IBLP, throughout the trailer for the series. And in it, they're saying that these teachings are not a part of Christianity, and it sounds like they might even be holding TLC accountable for sharing Gothard's teachings and presenting them in this Duggar way where it seemed inviting and wholesome. Jill is quoted saying that there's a story that's going to be told and she would rather be the one to tell it, which is probably why she is joining in this project. And it seems like this is a real deep dive into Gothard's teachings and how the Duggars played a part in publicly displaying them. The trailer touched on the way of life that was taught, where children were to obey their parents and wives were to obey their husbands, and everyone obeys Gothard, and are quoted in the trailer saying Gothard turned every father into a cult leader and every home into an island. They even reference The Handmaid's Tale in this, talking about living this lifestyle was relatable to the novel, which is just a scary thought to have, someone feeling as though The Handmaid's Tale is relatable. But there's truly a reason as to why Bill Gothard had to step down. It's sad people looked up to someone like that. Truly sad with all the things that have come out about him. And this is just huge for the Duggar girls to be speaking about, and people have responded so well to them advocating for themselves and wanting to help others who are still stuck in these teachings. I mean, this is a family that people watched for years, and I think a lot of people were just fascinated by how they were and interacted with each other because they were very, very conservative and they had a lot of kids, and people just ate it up at the time. Like, people love reality TV, and having a lot of kids, that was something that people love watching, like John and Kate plus 8. Except the Duggars were obviously a lot different than John and Kate plus 8 because of the way that they were very conservative. And I think because they came across as this sweet, wholesome, innocent family, when everything came out about Josh, people were like, oh my freaking God, there is something sinister going on over there. And the fact that they're actually coming out and speaking out, and the girls are saying that they have changed their way of thinking. They're wearing pants now. They are cutting their hair. They're getting piercings. They are undoing their childhood. It is wild to see that this is happening, and people are so proud of them for getting out of this teaching. They are still close as a family. The siblings do keep in touch. They are close with their mom. I've seen a lot of them post for Mother's Day, so it's not like they absolutely do not like their parents. I think it's just a matter of they just don't exactly see eye to eye with their parents. Ginger did talk about that when she was interviewed earlier this year, that, you know, her and her parents just have different beliefs, and there's just things that they do not talk about because it wouldn't be a good conversation if they did bring them up, but they are civil and there's love there. And she has not stopped speaking out either on the subject. Even as of last month, her and her husband sat down to do a podcast interview talking all about Gothard and what it was like questioning the beliefs that she grew up knowing, and how she used to be so scared to be around anyone who didn't believe the same things as her, and how she's really wanted to help other people wake up from this. And on the topic of the series that's about to come out, in the trailer, they do touch on Josh Duggar and his arrest, and someone is quoted saying the Institute raises little predators, and it seems like Jill will also be opening up about her brother as well in the series. Ginger has spoken up a few times now since she's been talking to the press more and more, and she feels like people were going to give Christianity a bad name because Josh had said he was a devout Christian, and with all of this happening, it gave her more of a reason to speak out about what her family followed all these years ago and who they learned it from, and that a lot of it was not in scripture, and how IBLP taught that attraction was a sin, and she always felt guilty if she found a guy attractive, and she would keep crushes a secret because she felt like she was sinning. And her husband have really talked about this on podcasts with the problem of the teachings that she was taught as a kid, and how harmful it is to not have conversations with your kids and to just tell them to suppress things, because she says that it's sad a lot of them will just go and find out things on their own. And she said that she knows a lot of other families that were like hers, where their kids were like her brother, and it sounds like the docuseries is going to talk further about how the Duggar family is not the only one to have listened to Gothard and followed IBLP and had something like that happen. It's just crazy the ups and downs this family has been through over the years and what has happened in the recent times with more people coming out and bringing awareness to what specifically they were believing in and trying to help others wake up. It's good to see that some of them have and are living freely now, raising their own kids differently. And I certainly want to know if any of you guys used to watch the show, if you have been seeing the girls speak out, if you're going to tune into the docuseries when it comes out. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I love you guys so much, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye, guys.